So let's just come to our mats. Find your way to a child's pose, taking your knees wide on the mat, allowing your hips to sink down towards your heels. You're bringing your head to the mat, or perhaps bringing your hands on top of one another and bringing your head to your forehead, to the back of your hands. And just start breathing in and out through your nose. Slight constriction at the back of your throat so that you can hear your own breath. On your next inhale, just coming forward, tucking your toes under, lifting the hips, coming into a downward facing dog. You can walk out your dog, bending one knee and then the other. Rolling over the toes if you like. Then coming to stillness in your down dog. Pressing all 10 fingers into the mat, allow your heels to sink towards the mat. Gaze between your feet. Bending your knees, looking forward and walking to the top of the mat. Coming into a forward fold. Allowing your head and neck to relax, grabbing opposite elbow. Gentle sway from side to side. Relaxing the hands towards the mat, and on your next inhale, just slowly coming up one vertebra at a time. And reaching the hands up overhead. Bringing the hands together, allow the hands to come to your heart center. Gazing at your fingertips or closing your eyes if you like, and set an intention for your practice. Releasing your hands down by your side, coming into a mountain pose, stacking the joints. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold, hands to the mat, stepping back. High plank, option to drop to the knees in your first high plank. So low plank, keeping the elbows in. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, lifting the hips to downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here in down dog. Looking forward, bending your knees, walking or hopping to the top of the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift. Bringing the hands to the upper thighs, squeezing your elbows towards each other. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, coming all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat, stepping back, high plank. So low plank, keeping the elbows in, only going halfway down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, lifting the hips to downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here. And looking forward, bending your knees, again, either walking or hopping to the top of the mat. Inhale to that halfway lift, hands on the upper thighs, elbows squeezed towards each other. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, reaching the hands out wide, all up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to the mat, stepping back, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, rolling over the toes, lifting the hips to downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here in down dog. And bending your knees, looking forward. Again, walking or hopping to the top of the mat. Inhale to that halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive coming all the way up, hands overhead. Keeping your hands up, gaze up, bending into the knees, coming into chair. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat, stepping back, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, lifting the hips to downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Step the right foot forward, back heel down, rising up to warrior one. Settling into your warrior one. Turn your thumbs out, little fingers in. Gaze can be up towards the ceiling. Hands to the mat, stepping back, high plank, holding high plank. And then lifting the hips to downward facing dog. Inhale, that right leg or left leg lifts, stepping the left foot forward, back heel down, rising up to warrior one. Settling into your warrior, checking the alignment of your feet. 45-degree angle with the back foot. Draw a line from the left heel through the arch of the right foot. Hip points are facing forward, reaching the hands up overhead, thumbs out, little fingers in. Bringing the hands through heart center as you take the hands back to the mat. Stepping back, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here in down dog. And bending the knees, looking forward, walking or hopping to the top of the mat. Inhale to that halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, bending into your knees and rising up into chair. Exhale, hands through heart center, hands to the mat, stepping back, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Right foot forward, back heel down, rising up to warrior one. Hands back to the mat, stepping back, high plank, holding high plank. Lifting the hips to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Left foot forward, back heel down, rising up to warrior one. Hands back to the mat, stepping back, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here in down dog. Then looking forward, bending your knees, walking or hopping to the top of the mat. Inhale to that halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, bending into your knees, rising up into chair. Bringing the hands through heart center, forward fold, hands to the mat, stepping back, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Right foot forward, back heel down, rising up to warrior one. Hands back to the mat, stepping back, high plank, holding high plank. Lifting the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Left foot forward, back heel down. Rising up to warrior one. Hands back to the mat, stepping back. High plank, holding high plank. Bringing your feet together at the back of the mat. Dropping the right knee down, kick your right foot out to the side, bring the left foot flat to the mat. Reaching the left hand high. Moving into a side plank. Options allow that left foot to float up off the mat to about hip height. Flexing the foot. Turn the foot to the mat, hand to the mat. Coming back to high plank. Lifting the hips to downward facing dog. Inhale, that right leg lifts. Stepping the right foot forward. Keeping the back heel high, coming into a runner's lunge. Allow your hands to sweep back to airplane arms, palms facing the mat. Hovering the chest over the thigh. Allow the arms to sweep forward, and when the biceps get to the level of the ears, then hinging to the upright posture, sinking into your hips, and into a crescent warrior. Inhale, bringing the hands to heart center. Exhale, twisting to the right. Option to stay here in the upright twist, or you can bring that elbow on the outside of the right knee, and then pressing the palms together, working to bring the thumb knuckles back towards the center of the chest. Trying to stack the shoulders. And then releasing the left hand down on the inside of the front foot as you reach the right hand high. Bring the right hand down. Let's bring that right hand on the inside of the front foot and heel toe your right foot out to the outer edge of your mat, coming into a lizard pose. So we're keeping the arms straight. Option to drop that left knee down and coming onto the top of the foot. Staying right here where you can come down onto your forearms. Again, either keeping that left knee down or tuck the toes under and come up onto the toes as you straighten the left leg. And then take your gaze to your right foot and come onto the little toe side of the foot. Allow that right knee to drift out to the right. Just a little extra opening. Then bringing your right foot flat to the mat, right hand down, left hand down, coming back up. Taking that right hand on the outside of the right foot as you heel toe the right foot back into the center. And then on your next inhale, bringing the left foot next to the right, coming into a forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on the upper thighs. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising all the way up, hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat. Stepping back, high plank. Bringing the feet together at the back of the mat. Dropping the left knee, left foot out to the side, bringing the right foot flat to the mat, coming into side plank. Option to bring that right foot up off the mat. Bringing the foot down, the hand down, coming back to high plank. Let's go to low plank. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, that left leg lifts. Step the left foot forward, keeping your back heel high, coming up into your runner's lunge. Allow your hands to float up into airplane arms, palms facing the mat, sweeping the palms forward, and then hinging up into a crescent warrior. Allow your hips to sink another inch or two, really pressing through that right heel. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, twisting to the left. Again, option to stay right here, just in an upright twist. We can bring that elbow on the outside of the left knee as you press your palms together, working to bring your thumb knuckles towards the center of your chest. And breathe. Bringing the right hand down on the inside of your front foot, take that left hand high for an easy twist. Bringing the left hand down. Let's bring the left hand on the inside of the left foot as you heel toe your left foot out to the edge of your mat. Coming into lizard pose. Again, option to keep that right knee off the mat, or you can drop the right knee down. If you do that, drop the top of the foot to the mat. Staying right here or coming down onto your forearms. Coming into a lizard pose. And again, option to stay right here, or you can gaze over at your left foot and just lift the inside of the foot so you roll onto the little toe side of your left foot. Just a little more of an opening in the left hip. Bringing that left foot flat to the mat, coming back up onto your hands. If you have the knee down, bringing that knee up. Take the left hand on the outside of the left foot as you heel toe your foot back into the center. So you're back in your runner's lunge. And then on your next inhale, bringing the right foot next to the left, coming into a forward fold. And bending into the knees and rising up into chair. Bring your hands to heart center. Inhale. On the exhale, twisting to the right. Option to stay right here or bring that elbow on the outside of the knee, coming into a prayer twist. Again, working to bring the thumb knuckles back towards the center of the chest as you press your palms together, trying to stack the shoulders. Your gaze can be down at your toes or up over your right shoulder. Let's take 3 breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale. Coming back to center and forward fold. Bringing the fingertips to the mat, just bending one knee and then the other, keeping your feet flat. Coming to stillness, bending into your knees and rising up into chair. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, twisting to the left. An option to stay right here or bringing that elbow on the outside of the knee and bringing the hands back towards heart center as you stack the shoulders. Again, your gaze can be down towards your toes, or you can take your gaze out to the left or up over your left shoulder. Let's take 3 breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale And exhale. Just one more. Inhale. And exhale. Coming back to center and forward fold. Bending one knee and then the other. Just letting that go. On your next inhale, rising all the way up, reaching the hands up overhead. Exhale, returning to a mountain pose, just reconnecting with your mountain. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold, hands to the mat, stepping back, high plank to low plank, elbows in, inhale, upward facing, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, that right leg lifts. Right foot forward, back heel down, rising up to warrior one, opening up to warrior two. Right hand forward, left hand back, check your left foot, make sure it's angled about 45 degrees. You draw a line from the right heel, it should go right through the center of the left arch. Flipping the front palm towards the ceiling and reversing your warrior. Reach that right hand high. Coming back to warrior two. Gaze over that middle finger of the front hand. Bringing the right forearm to the right thigh as you reach the left hand high. Turning the left palm forward as you bring your bicep towards your left ear. Taking your gaze up towards your left shoulder or armpit. Option to stay right here with the forearm on the thigh, or you can reach that right arm forward like you're grabbing a beach ball. Returning the arm to the forearm, reaching that left hand high, bring the left hand behind the back, either placing the back of the hand on the sacrum, or you can reach that hand around to the front of the right upper thigh, coming into a half bind. Keeping the forearm on the mat or on the thigh, or you can just start to straighten that arm and maybe sinking that arm down a little closer to the mat. Then returning to warrior two. Windmill the hands back to the mat. Stepping back, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Left foot forward, back heel down, rising up to warrior one. Opening up to warrior two, left hand forward, right hand back. Checking your alignment of your feet. Gaze over that middle finger of the front hand. Flipping the front palm and reversing your warrior. Take that left hand high. Right hand just rest on the back leg. Coming back to warrior two. Left forearm to left thigh as you reach the right hand high. Turning the right palm forward and bringing your right bicep towards your ear. Just feel that line of energy from your right fingertips all the way down your right side to your right heel. Option to stay right here with that left arm on the thigh, or you can reach that left arm forward. Returning the forearm to the thigh as you reach the right hand high, reaching around the back and coming into a half bind. Again, taking your gaze up over your right shoulder. Staying here with the forearm on the thigh, or you can start to straighten that left arm, perhaps sliding down the inside of the leg, going down as far as is comfortable for you. Perhaps just the fingertips touch the mat. Important to keep the shoulders stacked. Don't want to lean that right shoulder forward. Keep the right shoulder high, looking up over the right shoulder. Returning to warrior two. Windmill the hands to the mat, stepping back. High plank. Let's drop our knees wide and come into a child's pose. Reconnecting with your breath. Always an option to come into child's pose anytime you need to, especially if you lose your connection with your breath. Taking 2 more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, let's come up to all fours. So placing the palms right underneath the shoulders, the knees right underneath the hips, tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale, reaching the right hand forward and straightening the left leg as you press the left toes into the mat. Then option to allow that left heel to float up to hip height. Keeping your gaze down at the mat. Flexing the left foot. Taking the right arm out to the right at shoulder level as you bring the left foot out to the left, trying to bring your left toes towards the front of the mat. Coming back to center, reaching the left foot back, right arm forward, bending the left knee, reaching that right arm back and trying to grab the left foot just above the toe line. If you have the foot, you kick the foot into the hands, feel a little arch in the low back. You keep your gaze down towards the mat, or you can take your gaze up over your right shoulder. Releasing the foot, reaching forward and back, then bringing the right hand down, left knee down. And let's take a cycle of breath right here. On your next inhale, reaching the left hand forward, straightening the right leg as you press the right toes into the mat. Option to keep those toes on the mat, or you can let that right heel hover up to about hip height. And taking the left hand out to the left at shoulder level, and bringing the right foot out to the right, trying to point your right toes towards the top of the mat. And then allow the foot to go back, reach the hand forward. Bending the right knee, staying right here or reaching around and grabbing that foot just above the toe line. You have the foot, kick the foot into the hand, feel the arch in the low back. Gaze can be down at the mat or take your gaze up over your left shoulder. And releasing the foot and the hand, reaching forward and back. Left hand down, right knee down. Let's take a cycle of breath right here on all fours. We'll do a few cat-cow poses. Inhale, chin lifts, belly sinks. Exhale, tucking the chin in as you round the back, coming into an angry cat. Inhale, chin lifts. Exhale, rounding the back. Inhale, chin and tailbone lift. Exhale, rounding the back. One more, inhale, chin lifts. Exhale, rounding the back. Then coming back to neutral. Tucking the toes under, lifting the hips to downward facing dog. Then walking to the top of the mat, coming into a forward fold, measuring off 2 fist distance in between your feet. Taking a yogi toe lock with your peace sign fingers, go on the inside of the big toe, thumb comes over top. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, folding forward, elbows out to the side as you pull up on the toes with your fingers, pressing the toes into the fingers. Then breathe. And then releasing the toes, and we'll move right into gorilla pose. So lifting one foot, stepping onto your palm, just press your fingertips back as far as you can. On the other side, bringing your toes up towards the inside of your wrist. Allowing your head and neck to relax as you gaze between your legs. Perhaps wiggling your toes to give a nice counter massage to the wrist after all of those down dogs. And releasing the hands, take your feet wide and coming down into a yogi squat. So if you can't get your feet flat to the mat, there is an option to sit on a block or two. I'm going to bring your elbows on the inside of your knees and then work to press your palms together and bring the thumb knuckles towards the center of your chest. Taking your gaze straight ahead. Staying right here, or we'll go into a crow pose. So if you want to go into crow, just bring your hands down to the mat, keeping your elbows right where they are, perhaps maybe sliding your elbows a little forward so your triceps are pressing into your knees. Lifting the heels, coming up onto your toes as you shift your weight into your hands, perhaps raising one foot off the mat. Just feel how that feels for bringing the other foot off the mat, coming into a crow, looking straight down at the mat. Let's take a few breaths here. And if you need to come down, just come right back to your yogi squat. There is an option to shoot your feet back to the back of the mat, coming into a low plank, and then into an upward facing dog. And then lifting your hips, coming into downward facing dog. We'll all meet right here in down dog. Then walking your hands towards your feet as you come to standing at the back of your mat. Slowly rising all the way up, hands overhead. And then releasing your hands to mountain pose. So we'll move on to some balancing poses. We're going to start with warrior 3. So bringing your hands to your hips. Now step your left foot forward, keeping your hands on your hips. And for this warrior 3, we're going to interlace our hands behind our low back. So releasing the hands and interlacing the fingers behind your low back, pressing your knuckles towards the floor, feel that opening across the collarbones. And then shifting the weight into the left foot as you lift the right heel. Start to hinge forward with a straight spine. You can keep that right toe on the mat, or you can allow that right toe to hover. We're headed towards the shape of the letter T. Gaze is down at the mat. Square your hip points to the mat. There's a tendency to let that right hip lift. So try to square the hip points towards the mat, flexing the right foot. Allow that right foot to come back down, pressing off the left foot, coming to the back of the mat, releasing your hands into mountain. Bringing the hands to the hips, step that right foot forward, releasing the hands, interlacing the knuckles behind the low back, pressing the knuckles down towards the mat, gazing forward, then shifting the weight into that right foot as you lift the left heel, and slowly hinging forward, either keeping the left toes on the mat, or you can allow the left foot to lift, flexing the left foot, keeping those toes pointing towards the mat as you come into a warrior three. Slight bend in the standing leg helps. Allow that left foot to come back down, pressing off the right foot, coming to the back of the mat and releasing into a mountain pose. Bending into your knees, pressing your knees together, coming up into chair. Inhale, right arm underneath, either grabbing opposite shoulder, or you can bring the fingertips of your right hand into the palm of your left. Perhaps releasing your left thumb and placing your left thumb right against your forehead. Staying right here, just keeping the knees bent, or you can lift that right knee up and over. Coming into eagle pose. The right foot can just hover out to the side. You can tuck your foot behind your calf. Or you can bend into the left knee and allow your right toes to touch the mat. A little kickstand. Pressing the elbows forward, feel that opening between the shoulder blades. Let's take 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, releasing the arms overhead, foot to the mat. Bending into the knees and bringing the left arm under, either grabbing opposite shoulder or bringing your left fingertips into the right palm, staying right here with the knees bent, or you lift that left leg up and over. Again, option to either let that left foot sort of hang out to the side, or you can bring the toes down to the mat. And bring that right thumb to your forehead. Pressing the elbows forward, sinking into the hips. Two more breaths, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, exiting the pose, returning to a mountain pose. We'll just do one more balancing pose today, coming into tree. So lifting the right heel, turning the right knee out to the right, pressing the toes into the mat and keeping the sole of the right foot on the left ankle. Or you can bring that foot up to the calf, bringing the hands to heart center. Standing tall through the hips. Option to stay right here, or you can release the hands up overhead, turning the thumbs out, little fingers in, spreading the limbs of your tree. Bringing the hands back through heart center as you bring the foot to the mat. And we'll just switch it out. So bend the left knee, press the toes into the mat as you take the left knee out to the side. Either keeping the foot right here on the ankle, or you can bring the foot up to the calf. And then taking the hand position of your choice, hands up overhead. You can keep your hands at heart center. Coming into a standing meditation. Bringing the hands through heart center, foot to the mat, releasing the hands down by your side, coming into a mountain pose. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat, stepping back, holding high plank, and then lifting the hips to downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts, stepping the right foot forward, back heel down, rising up to warrior one, opening up to warrior two, straightening that right leg, and then reaching the right hand forward, coming into triangle pose. Allow that right hand to come down to the right shin as you reach the left hand high. Taking your gaze up towards your left thumb if it's okay with your neck. Allow that left hand to pull you back up. Come to warrior two arms and then reversing your feet exactly. Turn the right toes in, the left toes out. Now you're facing out the back of your mat. Left leg is straight. Reaching that left hand forward as you come into triangle pose on the other side. Bringing the left hand down to the shin, right hand towards the ceiling. Allow that right hand to pull you back up. Bring the hands to the hips. Reverse your feet exactly and stepping back to the top of the mat. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, stepping back to high plank. Let's come down to our knees and then onto your forearms for a forearm plank. So option to stay right here on your knees. Tuck your toes under and lift your knees coming into a forearm plank. Gaze is straight down at the mat. Really pressing the forearms into the mat. Feel a little opening between your shoulder blades. And breathe. Let's do 3 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale, and then coming down onto your knees, tops of the feet on the mat. Allow your pubic bone and pelvis to come down to the mat, coming into a Sphinx pose. Then from here, tucking your toes under, coming up onto all fours, and then finding your way onto your back. Laying down flat on your back, bending your knees, reaching down and touching your heels with your fingertips. We'll just do one bridge. Starting with your palms down by your side, pressing the feet into the mat as you lift your hips. You can keep your palms right where they are or interlace your hands together underneath, lifting one shoulder then the other as you squeeze your shoulder blades together, adjusting your neck so that you can roll a marble underneath your neck, and then pressing the hips towards the ceiling as you reach the knuckles towards the heels. Two more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Releasing the hands, allow the shoulder blades to separate, and then coming down slowly, one vertebra at a time. To bring the pelvis down onto the mat. Take the legs long and reach the hands up overhead for a stretch from fingertip to toe tip. And let's bring both knees in and give both knees a hug. Coming into happy baby. So take your feet towards the ceiling, trying to pull your knees closer. Your knees are out wide. Reaching the hands up to the inside of the arch of the foot. And then pulling your knees down towards the floor. Trying to keep your sacrum on the mat. So that might mean you might just grab your shin or ankle. Staying here, or can rock from side to side in happy baby. Bringing both knees in, give both knees a hug. Allow your left leg to go long. Keep the right knee in. We'll set up for a spinal twist. Keeping your left hand on your right knee, take your right hand out to the right at shoulder level. And then guide your knee over to the left, lifting your hips, come onto the side of your left hip as you allow that knee to go over to the left, flexing both feet, keeping your head and shoulders on the mat. Gaze can be towards the ceiling, or you can take your gaze over towards the right. And just breathe. On your next inhale, coming back to center, give that right knee one more hug. Then switching out the legs, take the right leg long, bring the left knee in, give the left knee a hug. Keeping your right hand on your knee, left hand out to the side at shoulder level. And then guide your knee over to the right, coming into a spinal twist on the other side. Again, flexing both feet. On your next inhale, coming back to center, give that left knee a hug. Bring the right knee in, hug both knees in. Bring your knees together, feet together. Lift your forehead towards your knees, right? Keeping your hands on your knees or reaching your hands down towards your heels and curling up into a ball. And then releasing into double bound angle pose or Supta Baddha Konasana, left hand on the heart.
Right hand on the belly, keep the soles of your feet together. Allow your knees to flop out to the side. Staying here or taking the left foot out to the edge of your mat. Allowing the right hand to come down by your side, back of the hand on the mat. Taking the right foot to the outer edge of your mat. And allow the left hand, the flower open, back of the hand down on the floor of the mat. Coming into Shavasana. Closing your eyes or covering your eyes if you like. Letting go of your breath, just breathing naturally. Sending gratitude to your body for your practice. Feel the mat supporting you. Perhaps noticing the weight of gravity on the front of your body.
Slowly starting to come back. Bring some motion into your fingers and your toes. Bending one knee and then the other, bringing both feet flat to the mat. And rolling onto your right side, perhaps supporting your head on your right bicep. And then finding your way to a comfortable seated position on your mat. Bringing your hands to heart center. Gazing at your fingertips or closing your eyes if you like. We'll end our practice by bowing forward and saying Namaste.